Yeah, John Paul Dorn, you are incredibly superficial. Oh, and Thunderfoot inspires you to think. Prove it. You know, I believe he's inspired some people to think, but you prove it. All I ever see from you is taking of sides. When do you engage a thought? You know, inspires you to think. How about when you actually have a thought, then you make that judgment? You're always jumping in without knowing shit, taking sides and find out, oh, and then you feel betrayed and take the other side, oh, and then it's all a lot about, oh, but you hurt my feelings, or you didn't, or you're the only person that defended me and I needed someone to defend me. And you watch Mel's video and you think that she said that don't screw with the crazy person because he'll kill you. That's all she said. That's basically what she's saying. No, that is not what she said. She said don't use something that is an illness as a bludgeon. And yeah, you might drive them over the top. That's what I got from that video. Now, I told you several times what my complaints about Thunderfoot were, and I don't watch him. I'm not a part of this, and I haven't watched Coughlin for about as long. But the videos I did watch of Coughlin's, yeah, they showed some creative insight. It does, but he's an educator and a scientist. How could you possibly think what you thought? Well, because I'm complaining, or have complained, about Thunderfoot doing exactly what you are just doing even more obviously. What is that? It's this side thing. One side represents light and one was dark, and when you stick your tongue out at somebody, you've threatened the foundations of Western society. And there's dark and there's light, and I'm on the light side, and he's an educator and a scientist. Well, if he's so well educated, he ought to be able to know how fucking ludicrous it is to imply that Christianity at least learned from the dawn of reason that this and this is how you do it. That is such bullshit. Okay, and he's radicalizing something that by definition is non-radical. Look, if somebody claims to be a moderate Muslim, but they're really a fanatical terrorist, then they're not really moderate. Trying to say that, oh, moderate Muslims are radical, that's fucking ridiculous. That's a demonization, and it's crazy. Especially since, yeah, of course there are moderate Muslims. It's like this Juan Williams thing, which, you know, who cares about NPR firing him? That's between him and his boss as far as I know. But was what he said bigoted? Well, would it be bigoted if he said, well, because of urban crime statistics, I have to admit, I'm afraid when I look in the mirror. Would that be bigoted? Listen, it is bigoted. Well, no, it just makes perfect sense. You know, even Tommy from the Bronx, who I tend to, you know, like his sentiments, and they're in areas I often don't care about, and this whole atheist community thing. And he was like, it's just what we all think. Well, the guys that blew up the World Trade Center, flew planes into them, weren't dressed in Muslim garb. It's just profiling, but that's the way it is. No, it's not profiling. If it was profiling, you'd profile them based on the way they appeared that day. I want to base it on the way people more devout have dressed. No, that just makes sense. You know, and there's plenty of people that you know, I was challenged on Daily Kos about this issue, as if it can't be true. Yeah, like you would think the same about a group of suspicious olive-skinned men on a plane the same way you would about some white-haired old ladies. When you're so fucking bigoted, you think everybody's a bigot, and you defended the bigotry, and you say, hey, and this is why it's okay to feel this way, because I feel this way, we all feel this way, so hey. It's bullshit. The Thunderfoot is demonizing a group of people. He also showed cultural elitism with an odd for an anti-theist, forgiveness and apologia to give for Christianity. Not only is it bullshit, but he ignores the socio-political reasons that Islam, that the radicalized Islam has been more and more successful, which is the West's behavior in the Middle East for the last century. And you're like, oh, I can't even believe that. You know, a lot more likely than you not agreeing with Coughlin's style is this thing I don't know anything about, where you say he made accusations about you. and then your feelings got hurt, and so you chose a side. And if somebody on your side, if Thunderfoot did that, well, then your feelings would be hurt, and you turn on him too. That's fucking shallow. And you say it inspires you to think, then how come you can't fucking take any of the ideas? Address those as ideas. You're going to say, oh, but he's got a PhD. Who the fuck cares? If he's got a PhD, then that means he's just way, way below the standard he ought to be meeting. That even a person without a PhD should be expected to meet. We just wanted attention. I didn't want attention. Somebody told me about this video, you know what I mean, not personally, but in their video, I went and checked it out. I checked out the other video, and I was like, so say what about Western system? Say what about the age of reason? Huh? You think I just want Thunderfoot's attention? I'm not interested. I found him boring as an educator, and that's fine. I thought, well, it's probably basically a positive thing. Some people, like John Paul Dorn, maybe are at the level that they could learn from this kind of thing. Who the fuck knows or cares? But when he starts inciting factionalism, it doesn't fucking matter what piece of paper he has to say that he's smart. He's a fucking idiot. And if anything, it just proves that that piece of paper was an error, or he's only smart in a very specific area. You know, PhDs are not that hard to get if you got money to make it through the system. And that's it. And he's a scientist. We don't know that. I don't know that. A scientist, you might have a PhD. Does that make you a scientist? Maybe in a minimalist way. I'm willing to say a science teacher could call himself a scientist out of charity. But you know, this argument from authority, especially when you don't want to share your private information. I mean, I have things where I could say, oh, here's my authority, there's my authority. You could, but you can't check. But even if you could check, it's bullshit. It's superficial. It's an authority fallacy. Argument from authority fallacy. Look it the fuck up. Now you take sides, but when do you goddamn engage an idea? When do you fucking turn an idea over and get to the next goddamn level? And you're going to tell, oh, it's all about good versus evil. See, that's why I don't give a fuck when conservatives change to liberal and now they change to this. You know, I had a friend, my best friend in high school, he was pretty much a Reaganite. We had, you know, some apparent overlap through libertarianism and just through the fact that we were politically interested and knowledgeable and things like this. Well, that friend turned into Marxist. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I'm screw conservatives want to become liberal, but they still think the same way. Oh, it's black and white, but now I know the black was white and the white was black and black. Fuck that bullshit. That is superficial thinking. He inspires you to think. Fucking prove it, man. I have yet to see you think. Just feeling an opinion, and here's what I want to say, and this person are my feelings, so I'm going to attack the other person that's attacking them. That's not fucking thinking. I think it's much more likely he inspires you to see a tunnel through which someone could feel superior through association with him or through fantasies that you'll go get a goddamn education that you haven't got yet or whatever it is that you think inspires you. And you tone in on this like there's an issue there, and really we find out, for example, because he says this and he reminds me of the Metam. You fucking don't understand what you're seeing. Dude, look, there's conflict between two people. And this person's a little bit right, and this person's a little bit right, and this person's a little bit wrong, and this person's a little bit wrong. Oh, maybe this person's more right, and this person's more wrong. But you jump in the middle not knowing shit. You are the most wrong of all. You have no fucking idea what's going on. You have no idea what's being said. You have no idea what the actual ideas are. All you can see is, oh, but this guy is an educator and has a piece of paper, and that guy's a comedian, and he sticks his tongue out, and it's a danger to the civilization. It is not a danger to the civilization. And expecting a response, you know, can be a complex thing. It doesn't mean you expect a personal response. It doesn't mean you actually think the person's going to give you a response. It's more like, hey, you make a claim like that, you know, then you should be able to back it up. You know, Thunderfoot, in his debate he announced with this other guy, he says, I'm going to assess all of the complaints and find only engage in the rational complaints, which amounts to one person. Is he claiming to have seen everybody that responded to him? No, he's not. He's full